Namaste. Today, I thought of going live on YouTube, and I do not see many people, but still it's okay. Maybe it will be recorded and can be maybe later on. And I thought of talking about why yoga and why do we do yoga. There are different types of different forms of exercises. So why should we take yoga into our life? So well, basically we have to understand what is yoga uh, and what it does, and how is it different. So when we talk about yoga, there are yoga in Sanskrit is the union. So basically union of two things. So you can call it mind and body. You can call it mind and soul, or you can call it union of the self with the supreme self. As we believe in this duality, that there is some higher head, and we always try to reach there. So if there is any medium available with us, that is yoga. So in the hierarchy of, as you know, that we have this physical needs, then at the end we really want to reach to that self actualization, and yoga is the tool to know ourselves in a better way. So after defining yoga, which is a connection, but if we actually see and understand in a deeper way, it is not actually connection, but it is that subtraction. So biyoga, it means not being attached, maybe um, non-dwelling, or not to be attached over anything. So that's how is the real meaning of yoga. By everyday practice, and how to achieve that? By practice. So by everyday practice we can actually get that state of detachment. So why then, again the next question is, why suffering? Then this is the basic question. Why we do not have that happy, normal, beautiful life every day? Why do we feel pain, challenges in life? Then because of the result, maybe, that we get out of the action, or a kind of action we do. So in a way we can interpret this way, that when we are attached, so we get some result, and it may be good or bad. So according to the karma, that good action or bad action, and this attachment, we feel sorrow, suffering, of course we feel pleasure. So then yoga always say not to discriminate between good or bad, and staying normal. Staying normal means choosing that middle path. What does that mean? That means instead of complaining, or instead of overwhelming in happiness or overwhelmed in sorrow, not to go to this extreme path, but remaining in a equanimous state. that is again yoga. So that definition is says samatvam yoga uchyate. So what is yoga in the second place? First one is a definition that yoga is that connection or to be disconnected. Then next one is staying in a midway, not in the extremes, not in sorrows or happiness, not in likes and dislikes, not in right or wrong. So choosing that mid path, maintaining that equanimous state. Then we have another definition which says what is yoga? Yoga is that being expert in action or doing action in an excellent way. So that is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, which is our Hindu holy book. So, and which is a great text on yoga itself, where the definition of yoga is given as excellence in action is yoga. So whatever we take, for example, if you are just even cleaning a glass, so how nicely you are doing that particular work. So taking care of this very minute things, small things, and doing it perfectly is that yogic way of doing. So getting that excellency. Then another definition is also given, which is more of a psychological, which says what is yoga? It says yoga is that happiness of mind. So it's the simple happiness of mind. Being happy is yoga. So when we say being happy is yoga, then we definitely know that we are not happy all the time. We are in a state of unhappiness, mental agony or stress, depression. We are anxious. We are anxious about our future, past, present. We are just we are having lots of anxiety. Now this says this is a technique to be happy. So for example, if you actually do a yoga session with any teacher or by yourself with some videos, or you just do not know anything, you close your eyes and you watch your breath and you just close your mind and try not to think or just try to observe your thoughts, what happens? Basically, that you find that peaceful or that inner peace and that happy state of mind. So this is just a basic example for that moment. Just imagine if we do that every day regularly and keep it as a part of our life, how much happiness we can actually get. Then that another definition which is also given in another text, traditional text, such something is known as Patanjali Yoga Sutra, which says what is yoga. It says that gaining mastery over the mind. So more or less there is something which is troubling us, all of us, all the time, which is a mind. So when we say happy, we are not happy because we are identifying ourselves mostly with the body and the mind, because that's what we see. Physically we have a body and we have a mind where we can think. Then when we think the real happiness is when we satisfy the demands of our mind. But actually that happiness is very temporary. The moment we understand the kind of activities of mind, then we can actually gain mastery over the mind, which is the other definition of yoga, chitta vritti nirodha. So as I have already given a kind of explanation why they have told nirodha, which means gaining mastery over mind. They could have said rodha, birodha, which is defending or controlling. But these two words are not the solution. So what is a permanent solution? Understanding the mind and gaining mastery over the mind, which is the aim of practicing yoga. Now, how do we start yoga? Because these are like, it says first of all that yoga is what choosing that middle path and staying in that, not stay in the extremes, which is not very easy to follow. Second says that being excellent in action. So what should be our action? Any action we do, that we should be excellent in that. So to do an excellent job, what kind of mindset you need? You need to be calm and a kind of a tranquil mind you need. So for that you must have a happiness state of mind, which happiness doesn't depend upon any material thing or any sensual pleasure, but a higher level, which we can say a blissful state. How can you get that blissful state? When you are observing your mind and every activity have cultured or already gained the mastery over it. So that is how yoga is. Now, what we generally understand by yoga? The first thing comes is posture. So that's what is generally understood as yoga. I am doing yoga, it means I am doing some physical activities. Then if I have to do physical activities, I have, like you can see everywhere, personal trainers. Every nook and corner there is a gym having very awesome machines. You have to go weight lift. There are treadmills, cross trainers, so many different things. Now in yoga there is nothing. So what is with you? You have a body and you have your breath. So the point here we can notice is wherever we go, we take this to whether you want it or not, you go. It means your body is with you and you are going. It means you are alive and your breath is with you. And in yoga, we work with these two elements. Your body, your physical body and your breath. So now, doing work only on breath is a secondary part in yoga that comes after the physical part. Now, if you understand yoga, let's come and talk something about what are the types of this yoga. So there are different types. Some people, you must have heard, some people I know practice Kundalini yoga. That's like maybe a different aspect, different branch of yoga. Some people talk about Hatha yoga. Some people do Ashtanga yoga. Some people do power yoga. Some people say, oh, I practice Bhakti yoga. Some people do, oh, I am a Karma yogi. Some people do, I am a Gyan yogi. Then there is something called Raja yoga, which can actually put into the basic yoga what we do, like asana, pranayama or meditation, which comes mostly under this Raja yoga, the royal path. So I will come back and maybe I will make another video to explain why this particular yoga is known as royal path. What is the significance of it? Now, apart from this, there are other types of yoga. There is something called yin yoga, some call it yang yoga. Just to name a few, I do not want to name the modern yogas, which maybe you will be surprised and you must be knowing. People are doing beard yoga, people do nude yoga, people do wine yoga, and so many different things. Definitely are, according to me, may not be should not be called as yoga, because there is I am trying to take you to the point and letting you know that you should choose and know what you are doing. Are you actually doing yoga or not? Because once you understand what yoga is, then what you do, then you choose that. It's up to you. Then we can actually tell something called Tantra Yoga, which is really fascinating to the Western people because they think it goes through a kind of a sexual pleasure. So here also we look for pleasure, not for the real yoga. So there is nothing wrong, but if you are not eligible for that, you should not even try it. And under the guidance, everywhere if you see, they say this under the guidance with proper understanding. So what happens in Tantra, there are so many different techniques. We forget everything else because definitely there are, it needs sadhana. Sadhana means a rigorous, disciplined practice. Then we try to take a shortcut and the purpose goes missing and we are again governed by the mind and misled. Then there are yantra yoga, those who know and believe about different vastu and all. So, and through yoga means, let me explain what yoga can be. That is that connection, that understanding, that self-actualization, or moreover that getting out of that bondage, or moreover it is a having that salvation or liberation, if you want to, right? So those who are thinking of these words, big words, that's what yoga comes from, right? Doing yoga for what? This. So these are different ways which goes to one main goal, which is getting that liberation, getting that mastery, getting that ultimate goal, and that supreme goal where we get a freedom from the bondage of death and birth, if you believe in this rebirth and all. Because we have different religion, because now I am talking about spirituality, which comes on the order first. Then as we do not want to understand what is spirituality, something spirit and going beyond, then we bring it down in a religion way. So religion can be a part of religious rituals, can be a part of to have a glimpse of what spirituality is. Then it can come down to a normal life. So we have nothing, we do not know what is the wonderland of this spirituality. Then we are given a small religion, so that through this we can somehow understand and hold on to something. In dharma means religion is a dharma, means dharayate iti, which holds us, right? So, or we to what we are holding on to. So, but now we are going far away. If I talk about the Western world, if somebody will hear, like the younger generation, they will say, oh, you talk like Christianity. As if it's a taboo to talk really which is more of philosophical. So that's how it is taken, like talking spiritual Christianity or talking religious. It has nothing to do. When we are putting so much of our mind, actually we are going deep into the trance. We can actually see things in a 3D when it comes material things. So we use this mind to develop absolutely wonders. But when it comes to religious, when it comes to the spirituality part, we become very narrow, we close our mind, then as if this is not a thing to do, things to discuss, or things to talk, or things to experiment, things to see in the same way, going deep into the trance. That's what is the meditation, going deep into the trance level. Now, as I was telling the goal and the different types of yoga, again you can say this Tantra yoga, Yantra yoga is the instrumental machine, or something called Mantra yoga. mantra is the chanting. So you can also get one, as we have a prophet like Swami Vivekananda, as I have already introduced who he is. So long 100 years ago, 150 years ago, he came to this earth. He was born in India, and what he has said about the spirituality or yoga is the aim of life is to set free or get free. So what you can practice? You can practice any one of these yoga or many, but the goal is to set free, get free, right? So these are the different yoga. Why different yoga? For example, we have the different types of studies, right? So if you are best in math and I will ask you to take science, you will horribly fail in that subject, right? So if you are so good in playing cricket or playing rugby and I force you to go and study engineering so that you can earn something, that doesn't make any sense to you, right? Because your mind, your body doesn't want to do that or doesn't find that uh, interest to do that. Or another way I can say that you are a really good actor, you are such a beautiful singer, you want to be a pop star or a rock star, but I ask you to go and learn some skills, general skills where you can easily earn money. So I ask you to do plumbing, I ask you to do some ordinary things which just to get some money. So what will happen? So you won't be able to express yourself, your real inborn talent, which we say it is in my blood. So which is so natural. So you, that won't work for you, right? So taking that tool, you can't reach to what you could do. Or for example, in the plumbing, I ask if you want to be best plumber. In a more subtle example, so you need little instruments to fix something. Then I give you another tool which has nothing to do with plumbing or something to do, but actual that is not the tool for you. So you won't be able to fix it, right? So these different yogas are developed and practiced with different group of people, so that that particular technique will best suit them to reach to their goal, what they want to achieve in their life through yoga, right? So this was why I think different types of yoga you're developed. So for example, if you are a person with devotion, so you do not have to go and do do different kind of postures, pranayama. You just surrender yourself and still you get the same benefit. Some people, they want really like the philosophy, deep philosophy, they talk about Upanishad, they talk about Vedanta, deeper meaning. Then as I started with saying that yoga, the combination or it's the union of two things. If there will be real Jnana yogi, he is really into this, he will say no, there is only one person, and he believes in Advaitavada. There is no duality, there is one. So there is a different way of taking. So that's how he interprets, or a particular group of people see life. So they actually, we all want to reach to one goal, but we take different path, different tools. So these tools are different yoga, understanding, and your label may be something you also believe in samskara. That means your previous work towards this. How I can say this one? For example, me as example, I never have a background in yoga till 28 years. Nobody in my family did yoga. But I was so fascinated somehow. So somehow, if you have that previous experience, we do believe in yoga that if you have done that and you have left your practice unfinished, or you have reached to some, then somehow you will find in your next birth and you pick from there. And I can give you a little example. If you do exercise, any form of exercise, dance, and you will leave, you will lose it. But in yoga, if you have done it for a month or a year and you don't do for 1 month or 2 months and you start, it may take you 2 to 3 days mostly for 1 week, then you get all your flexibility because your muscle has that memory, right? And that happens in yoga. You never lose it actually. So as you, another example I can give, why few people, who are born and they talk different language, they talk different things, just because they remember their last birth and they still carry their impressions of the last karma. Normally it is wiped out completely sometimes, but that's some impression, we have to work through it. So again, it is also believed that everything is decided, which caste, which family, which color, which country we are going to have our birth or we are in, that is also decided by our previous births or previous karmas. So it's a complicated story, but long story in a short, not to go deep into it, is why different yoga, which means there are different tools, you take what suits you. So different styles, but be careful in choosing so that you do not end up in drinking wine, being an alcoholic, and yoga is. Because of this confusion of so many yoga, Swami Vivekananda, what he did, he broadly these different yogas into 4 categories, main categories. So what he named it? He named it as Jnana Yoga, yoga for knowledge; Bhakti Yoga, yoga for devotion; then Karma Yoga, yoga with action. So normally it is believed that we all are karma yogi because we cannot live without doing action, right? So we all do action throughout our life. That's how we live. That's how different, you see different forms of work. I mean, the whole world is created out of this action, right? And then we are not, we cannot be free from actions. But now action or the karma yoga says, how should we do action? So as we have life, we have taken birth, we have to work, we have to uh, do this karma, do this action. Then the attitude towards the action, and uh, attitude means the kind of mind. When I say, let me tell it this way, working without expectation. So this topic has been long discussed, and some people they say, okay, if I do not expect, I work and I do not expect salary, so I should not get anything, then how do I live? So many things, but instead of putting unnecessary logic into it, try to understand what it actually says. It says that the karma, the action and its result are not mine. It doesn't mean that you won't get your remuneration. You will still get your remuneration. But for example, there are different kinds of yoga. We do, different kinds of action. We do action for money. We do action for fame. Many people, even the real great yogis, they renounce this money and family, but they sometimes, this name and fame is a biggest trap. So many people are really actually trapped in this, that is khyati. And next one is karma for karma sake. We do action just for action only, not for salary, not for name and shame, not for having some other intentions to it, but just pure karma. When we do this kind of work, then there is a clear path, because we do not create impressions, we do not create extra karma or extra impressions or the results, or we do not have to test the results, but we go through it. So there is another example given very nicely, how to live life or how to do work. Doing work and living life is similar kind of example I can give you. For example, you must have seen a lotus leaf, lotus flower or lotus leaf. I will give this lotus flower example in a different context. This one is a lotus leaf. It stays in the water, but if you try to hold water into this lotus leaf, you can never, because that is something called the example of detachment. It stays in the water, but it is so detached from the water. So the aim of yoga to develop that faculty in our life, so that you live in this life but you are so detached. You are married, you have children, but you are not attached with that. So the moment we are attached, as I have mentioned in the very beginning, there comes the result of it. There comes the suffering. So all the mental agony, because we have attachment. Not attachment towards the family or people. It's a good thing, but with proper understanding. Next is why yoga, as I said. When it comes to, let me explain Raja Yoga, so that you will have a gross, understanding of what yoga we are doing by the name of yoga, which is Y-O-G-A-H in Sanskrit. Not yoga, not yoga or yoga, something. It's like, let it pronounce it correctly. Yama and niyama. So, reminding you, it is all connected. Yama and niyama. Yama is the social code of conduct to live in a life which is told by everyone, so which we know somehow. So Gautama Buddha and Mahavir Jain, any great, you can say about Islamism or Christianism, Jesus, everyone has focused doing right kind of thing. So that is like we have 5 social code of conduct to live in the society. We should not lie, we should not steal others' thing which is not ours, we should not hurt others, like not non-violence, which means non-violence has a deeper meaning. It doesn't mean that we take a stick and hit, that is violence, or we stab someone with a knife, that is violence. Not even by our speech hurting people, like saying bad words. Then it goes one more step deep, which means not even saying thinking bad words about people. That means not even our thought having ill thoughts towards people. That is a complete non-violence. So, and not stealing, any form of stealing. Even we have someone in our country back in Kolkata, I just do not remember his name, maybe Ishwar Chandra Chattopadhyay or somebody. He said, what is non-stealing? Even taking others' things, other stuff without asking them is also considered as chori, means, or stealing. So you have to be very, very careful with this as well. Next one is non-hoarding. So here we are trapped, actually, if you ask me. So what? Do not keep anything which you do not need. It means there are, these yogis were very smart. For example, now we have so many clothes. We have more than one vehicle. We have more than one which we need. So if you have more and more of more, you have your whole time and attention in taking care of this material thing. So that was the trickiest thing. Why non-hoardingness? What's wrong in hoarding things? So then this is the problem of the whole Western world. What is the problem? In normally, I have seen in India, people are poor. They do not have the basic things. Few people. And it's in kind of in some places of Africa, Somalia, still it's going on. But in most of the world, they have the problem of plenty. They have so much, they do not know how to get rid of things. So I can assure you there are few countries, they have the waste management system, right? They have to empty their bins and they have to pay to the council or the private people, those who are doing this waste management. They take sometimes weekly or in fortnight. If they will be given a chance of free and taken every day, these people will fill their recycle bin every day, because They do not have, they just hoard, they have garage house full of things. Then when you ask like for donations in yoga, we say like giving, serving. Do knowingly 5 good acts or 3 good acts of giving. So Bhagavan Sri Krishna, he says any form of giving. You do not have to give money to give. But if you have knowledge, you are working in an office, if you can help your colleague or friends or your subordinates, anyone who needs help, that is also a form of help. He says patram phalam puspam toyam, even a leaf, even a flower, even patram phalam puspam, even fruit, even you do not have anything, you can also offer just water. Now you can figure out what you can do. Not to show that your size of ego, that you can capable of giving anything people want, but to uplift yourself by giving. How? That is again deeper understanding, that the more we give, the more you understand that I am actually nobody to give, how much you can give. Then you understand that the limitation of yours, then you will have a deeper understanding. You will have the positive emotions, because remind you, I told about bhakti yoga, which is yoga of devotion, where we have a emotion culture. So emotion means not this beautiful emotion like love. We have the terrible emotion. Emotion means the range of different feelings, right? So this one emotion is also that compassion, feeling good for people, right? And also again, it is so deep meaning, going working with our own enemies, which is known as sadaripu, right? So having less anger, having less greedy, having less away from this what kind of moha and all, this kind of attachment and all. So now coming back to this aparigraha, which is not holding much, then next one is brahmacharya. So making this term to my Western friends may be really hard for me, and with this explanation I will stop today's talk. And that is, when say brahmacharya, the meaning of is celibacy. So abstinence, where we do not indulge in sexual activities. But brahmacharya, the actual meaning is brahmane charate iti. So our mind, chara means walking or means wandering or rendering in Brahma. Brahma means not the God Brahma, but Brahma means the subconscious, that superconscious or the ultimate higher level thinking about that Godhead. Maybe one day I can explain you about the Big Bang theory and the whole creation, if you believe that is one person connecting the Vishwarupa of Sri Krishna. Then it's the highest thing, like you have so much to think of when you are indulging in the sexual pleasure, which is also an important tool for Tantra Yoga when you use it with proper understanding. Then we mostly indulge in this, right? Then the whole we are in a kind of a now chakraviha. We are trapped so badly, there is no way out. One day I remember I was explaining what is brahmacharya to my Western students, and they said, this is bullshit. What are you talking? No sex? How can this? Cannot be. I mean, for them, believing, understanding that there can be a concept of brahmacharya, not to indulge in sexual pleasure and being in that, but we can actually, with this yoga path, actually switch the mind and we can think of higher things. Or maybe we can use, even if you want to have sex in a different way, like now Rishi, they have already clearly mentioned what is that for. That is for procreation. So if you need to do once sex, for what? For procreation, for having your first baby. If you want to do second time, that is also for the procreation, for having second baby. If you want to do more than that, they have asked, okay, dig a make a big dig your own coffin and go dip both husband and wife and enjoy for life. That's how we end up. So the whole essence of life we spoil. That's what maybe my understanding. There are different contests, different opinions about it, but that's how is similar. Like brahmacharya is thinking about Godhead, not thinking about lower things. So thank you. I think I have given a basic information about why yoga and why it is different. I will give the physiological aspect towards it in my next video. Maybe it will be a recorded video. I will upload it, or maybe I will come live and we can talk. And thank you so much for being with me. It is absolute pleasure all the time when I share my knowledge and being with you. Thanks for watching. Those who have liked my videos, those who have watched for a while, thank you so much to all.